All right. That sucked. I just recorded this whole thing and then looked at it, and the entire thing is fuzzy. So, had to download new video recording software. Anyways, today talking about my songwriting process. I'm gonna try to stick to my notes because I this topic will make me ramble if I don't, and this video will be easily an hour long. I love songwriting. I have been songwriting for decades at this point. I have notebooks like these, basically will last me 1 year, tops 1 year. It's 100 pages, so yeah, I will burn through and just, yeah. Anyways, so I like songwriting, and this is how I do it. I have a system for it. Usually what I do is I sit down. When I songwrite, I will sit down for a couple days where I've been able to block out a lot of time where nobody messes with me, where I don't have a dentist appointment. I don't have anything to do all day except eat, sleep, and songwrite. And I do that. That's what I do. Okay, so before I actually schedule those days and sit down and actually songwrite, that's I go out and I live a normal life. But when I live my normal life, I am constantly in the back of my head thinking, what would make a good song? And if anybody says, word or group of words together, phrase, statement, sentence that I think would be a cool song, then I use that. I put it in a list on my phone, and then that list is on a Google Docs, so I have access to it on my computer as well, and then I can sit down and write from there. Now, when it comes to sitting down and actually writing the song, where it goes. So a lot of people say, turn off your phone, get away from the computer, get away from all your distractions. I use these as tools when I songwrite. I'm definitely faster if I use them, but I do just, I don't get on Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. I just sit down and I use these things to work. So, yeah. Okay, so the very first thing I do when I sit down is I develop a title. If I don't have my list available, I have to come up with a title off the top of my head. I like writing from the title and then deconstructing a song out of it, as opposed to writing a song and then coming up with a title afterwards. It's my personal preference. Anything that I say, that I do, the exact opposite is completely valid for a process for doing songwriting. I keep checking the camera. It's over here is where I see it, making sure it doesn't fuzz up on me. Okay, for me, like I said, I do the title work beforehand. I have a list, and what I do is I basically, if something on the list is exciting me, something that I really do want to write a song about, I run with that. If there's nothing on the list that particularly stands out to me, I just start at the top of the list and I work my way down. I don't try to emotionally attach myself too strongly unless I'm already there to the song. The next thing I do is I develop an idea, and I like using the 3 T's method. So it's title, which I already got, tone, which you can fudge around with, but you need to have one to start with, and then topic. So title, tone, and topic. So I want to write a song called Cheeseburgers in Paradise, about cheeseburgers and how much I love them, and I want the tone to be joyful. And so from there, you can take that and then write I did this last time too. I keep saying you can. It has nothing to do with you. This is all about how I do it. Okay, so yeah. So the song map is just 3 sentences. It basically outlines a mini story arc, not a full story arc. Don't get too into the weeds. You're not doing like multiple character development as you're going through. It's a very small section of a story or idea or concept that you're writing about, or that I'm writing about. So I don't try to get too broad in my 3 arc concept here. It's just first line lays the groundwork. I'm either introducing a character if it's a story, or introducing a scene or something like that. And then I am in the second phase kind of developing drama into the situation, and then on the third phase I'm either making a hopeless amount of drama, or I'm concluding it somehow. And that's how the story, it's just 3 sentences. Like sometimes I get, when I'm hungry, there's nothing more I want than cheeseburgers. That's, first point in my story arc, if you will, or what did I call it? Song map, in my song map. And then the second one is maybe other foods just won't cut it. Steaks are nice, but salads are bland. Blah 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 blah. And then on the very last one, you hit it. You hit the audience or I hit the audience with something big, cheeseburgers are. I finally get my cheeseburger. It tastes like heaven. And then that's it. That's all I write, and that's my song map. The lyrics I write are not going to be exactly that, but it's going to follow those 3 little ideas as I develop it. When it comes to writing, when I sit down to actually start writing the song, a lot of people have told me that I need to write from the chorus first, but I like to write for the first line first. Just something about the workflow. It just once I get the first line, the rest of the song just kind of falls into place as I go. If I write the chorus first, I've actually never successfully written a chorus first song, I think. Maybe I've done it once or twice, but this is just where I default. I just like to write the very first line. That's where the first, very first blank line on the piece of paper, that's where the first line goes. So I reference the song map, and I work from there. I just kind of, at this point, I need to have chords already in mind. 3 to 5. If I don't have chords, then this is the time to write them. So 3 to 5. If that's the case, I write, I pick a simple rule, not a rule, general guideline, 3 to 5 chords, and I just come up with a chord structure that fits the tone of the song. And then I hum a melody until I got a good melody. And then I use that melody to create a line length, because now you have the shape of the song, or the shape of the words that you need, and you're basically bottlenecking yourself into one concludable outcome. so that way you're removing, or sorry, I'm doing it again. That way I'm bottlenecking myself into like one concludable outcome. So that way I just have less choices to pick from in order to get to the first line. And then once I have the first line, everything else kind of falls in place for me. There's a ton of tips and tricks and techniques on fleshing out the whole verse, and if I were to go over all of the ones that I use, this will be horribly long. I don't even know how long this is going. Oh, yeah, it's already pretty long. Finish the verse, then I get to the pre-chorus and the chorus. If the pre-chorus it just isn't working for me, I skip it. I go straight to the chorus. You have to I feel like I have to contrast the chorus to the verse some way, shape, or form. I don't like it when I write a song that the chorus is just the verse, but it's just another verse, but it's one that I repeat again and again. So there's different techniques that I use to contrast. The big one is melody pitch. So a lot of other songwriters do this as well. I will write the melody so that the melody is higher pitch in the chorus than it is throughout the rest of the song. That's an easy way to do it. Another technique I really like to use is just changing the chord structure. Changing the chord structure is inherently going to change the melody, which is another technique. You can keep the chord structure the same and just change the melody. Another idea is just dynamic expression. You can change your dynamic expression to do it. And you can mix and match all of these different techniques. Sorry, I will mix and match these different techniques to find the one that is I think is the most suitable for the song that I'm working on. As far as when it comes to melody changing, it's not just like the notes that you're changing in the melody, but also the amount of notes that construct the melody, and the length of those notes that construct the melody. So you can take, how that would work is I would take a medium to long line that I was using in the verse, and instead of doing something that matches that, I would do a short one for the chorus. So it's short lines throughout the chorus. That's just one technique. And you can just, I don't know. There's tons of ways to do that, and there's a lot of resources that are out there on how to do it. Again, if I get into the weeds on this, it's going to be crazy. All right, but when it comes to topic, so you use the song map to flesh out the lines, I use the song map to flesh out the lines and to bottleneck myself into like clearly I have to write about this. And these are the constraints in which I have put myself in order to get like a good consistent outcome, if you will. And then when it comes to writing the chorus, what I do for that is I stick to the topic. I try to keep it generic and topical, so that way it's relevant at the beginning of the story, or at the beginning of the song, and at the end of the song. Unless I have a really creative way of writing it, I don't try to use the chorus as a story development point. It's more of a emphasizing the state of the topic of the song, so which is why the topic is important to nail down before I start even writing the song. Okay. After I've got the first verse and the chorus done, it's a second verse and a bridge, or a second verse and a third verse, and I'm done. It's that usually comes really quick. I only mess with a bridge if I feel like the song needs a bridge. If I don't feel like it needs a bridge, I don't write one. I just write a verse. And yeah, if I have a good idea, like if I have a good idea for a bridge, I'll write a bridge. If I don't have a good idea for the bridge, I don't waste my time with it. I can take a verse that I've written and change that into a bridge during the production phase and revision phase later on down the line if I feel like it's necessary. But I don't mess with it because getting a song written, I think, is more important than getting it written so that it's perfect the first time you've sat down with it. I don't think I've ever written a song that I haven't revised in some way, shape, or form later on down the line. Yeah. So I don't do that. Okay. Once I have the song down, I have the chords, I have everything, I've like played my way through it a couple times, I pull out the old trusty phone and I record it. This is the most important step in the whole songwriting process, because the next day, if I don't do that, I will have forgotten what I did. Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed I will have forgotten what I did. There's a Ronnie Van Zant quote. It was like, if you wrote a song and you can't remember it, then how's it going to be memorable? Which is nice, coming from someone who doesn't have CTE like I do. But yeah, there's short-term memory issues are definitely a thing that some people have, and I do. And if you were to ask me for a recommendation for songwriting, that would be the number one, is create a catalog of recordings somehow, some way, of the songs you've written. Because when you thumb through your book, or when I thumb through my book looking for songs later, I'll find a song and be like, oh, this was a good song. I remember. I really liked it. And then I'll grab the guitar and sit down with it and not know how to play it. So I get a recording of it. I don't mess with the outro of the song, by the way. I guess dialing back a step, I don't mess with the outro too much. It's usually just the chorus and maybe like a tag line, like whatever I did to tag the chorus, I will tag it. I'll repeat that, the last line twice or something. I don't fiddle with it too much because it tends to be a waste of time, in my opinion. Because that is definitely, for whatever reason, that is going to be the most revised part of my song. Guaranteed. I know that as soon as I play it with the band or sit down to produce it, that part of the song is 100% or 90% going to change, or develop into something. I'm going to have a new idea as soon as I sit down with it and get it into a different context. The next thing I do with that song is I let it sit for a few days. I write another song, and I write another song, because usually I have like a couple days of songwriting scheduled, and so I will just sit down and write songs and songs and songs. My goal is 3 a day whenever I try to songwrite. Specifically, I try to write 3 a day as a minimum. And yeah, so I try to schedule 2 days for it. And I also I go into it knowing that if I get 1 or 2 okay songs out of the whole process, then I'm good. I don't try to write a good or great song ever. That phrase might sound funny, but I'm serious. Like I don't do that because I think it's an egotistical way to write, and it's gonna hold me back for sure, it's going to hold me back because I will sit down and stall. Because if I don't get it perfect, and I don't get it perfect the first time, then I will let that drive me crazy. So I don't bother getting it perfect. I don't bother aiming for it. I just try to look at every time I sit down to write a song as a songwriting learning process. I am always a student and always trying to learn and understand a new step or a new process, or how to refine my own process so that I can be more efficient, more creative, more expressive. Sometimes I will throw this entire thing, like I explained, I will throw the whole thing out the window and I'll try a different approach to songwriting just to see if I can learn something from the different approach. I usually save that for day 2 of my 2-day songwriting periods, and try not to so that way I don't get hung up on it. Anyways, after that, I have the recording. The next time I touch that song is when I go in to produce it. And I guess I will talk about that in the next video, because this seems like a good way to do it, just how I go from, words on paper or a blank piece of paper and a pencil to a song on Spotify. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. See y'all. Oh, that's right. Hey, I'm going to be out of town. I'm going on vacation with the family for 2 weeks. So I'm going to be out of town for 2 weeks. I have singles scheduled to release for the next 3 weeks, which leaves me with 1 week to get it turned around. And I don't think I'm going to make it. And if I do happen to make that deadline, I don't think I'm going to release it for the following week, because it'll have 1 week to go from the distributor, get approved by the stores, and then get distributed. And if I like the song, then I will be doing it poor service by doing that, because I won't be able to pitch it to the playlist guys. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll just do it. Just send it, shoot it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. Catch y'all later.